We are Sweet Tea and Thread, and once again, we're social distancing. I'm at home in Tennessee, and Bethany's at home in Muscle Shoals, and I'm Shay.
And I'm Bethany. We kind of switched places. I'm outside this time, and you're inside.
Yep.
So, but thank you for returning viewers. If you are, returning to our podcast, if you're a first-time viewer, thank you so much for joining us. This is a little unconventional, the way that we're having to record. Since we are social distancing, we're normally together. But if you do like the podcast, give it a thumbs up down below. Consider subscribing so that you get updated on when we post a new video. And if you want to leave us a comment, feel free down below. Tell us what you're working on, something that you've seen in the podcast that you like. I mean, really anything. We love hearing from our viewers. So
we do, yes. So I guess we will start with finished projects, of which I have none. So
okay.
We'll let Bethany talk.
So I finally finished the Alejandra Shawl. This is something that I've been working on for a while, and I kind of got stuck on the border. Not that the border was complicated, it was just, I started off reading the chart and decided that wasn't the best route for me, so I decided to read the written instructions. But, turn it around to the right side. Here's the shawl. It is a crescent shape, so it does that nice little turn up at the end, which I think is kind of fun on either side.
It's beautiful.
I know, it blocked out really well. And I did have to block it because the body of it went really quickly. It's just garter stitch. And if I'm not mistaken, the size needle that I used was an 8. So it goes pretty quickly. This border down at the bottom is a slip stitch border, so it's mosaic knitting. It's really easy. It's a type of color work that you're only using one strand of yarn at a time. So one color at a time, you work back and forth across it. And this is actually in a stockinette pattern. So it did want to really curl up at the end, so I did have to block it kind of aggressively, but it's pretty much done. We're calling it done. All that's going to be added to it is going to be some fringe on the border because that's what she suggests in the pattern, and we liked that idea. But
yes, we've discussed how much we love fringe and pom-poms.
It's a really good size shawl. And it's lightweight because the yarn that we used is Barocco. Is it Barocco Arno?
Arno, yeah, I think so.
So it's a really good size shawl, though. Something you can throw over your shoulder, which I'm not doing a good job of modeling. And then you'll get that pretty border and the fringe down at the bottom.
And really, if you're not into fringe, it's beautiful without it.
Mm-hmm.
So we just think more is more.
Exactly. But yeah, this yarn is really nice. I may actually have, I have a tag. So it is Barocco Arno. It is a cotton and merino wool blend. And the way this yarn is kind of spun, what I believe from looking at it, and you might know more information about it, but the cotton, I believe, is the casing. So it's basically like a tube, and then the fiber is blown into it like the wool fiber. So it has a little bit of a fuzz, kind of like a halo, but it's not like mohair that's gonna shed and you're gonna breathe in mohair all day long. It's not like that. So
right, it can kind of give you the look of mohair without the itch of mohair.
Yeah.
Those that are sensitive.
Go ahead.
I just said for those that are sensitive.
Yeah. I was gonna look up in my projects if I can pull it up to see how much yarn I used because I believe we ended up having to use 2 skeins of each color. So it's
Right.
a 3-color shawl, and so 6 total. But I wanted to double check and make sure. I still have it down here. Let's see what I did. 2 of each. So the colors that I did use was 5005, it's taupe, 5001, porcelain, and then 5006, frost. So you need 2 of each color, and this is how much I have left of each color, so not a ton. My needles are attached. You'll have to excuse those, but not a lot. Once I add the fringe, I'm sure I'm going to use the majority of this up, and since my needles are tangled up in the yarn anyway, I'm using the Licca driftwood needles. And these are a size 8, and they're the interchangeable. So I believe I had this on like a 32-inch cord. And that's what I knit the shawl on.
Yeah.
So
it's beautiful.
It's really lovely. I love how drapey it is and how lightweight it is, but it is really warm, which I like. So I think I might actually just continue to wear it. I have on several layers, but it's cool enough outside. I think I'll just continue to wear it.
All right. Well, you got any other finished projects?
Well, the other thing that I can talk about are the pants that I'm wearing.
Okay.
Because I got back into sewing a little bit more, and I won't stand up. We'll try to insert a picture when I edit it. Okay. But I'm wearing a Seamwork pattern. Seamwork is an online pattern shop. You can get a membership, or you can pay for the patterns. If you get a membership, there are certain perks, obviously, to that. These patterns the pattern that I made is the Marrett pants. So it's a wide-legged trouser, and I kind of think they're a little bit more like dress pants. Mm-hmm. They can be a business casual pant, I guess. Right. I made mine out of Brussels washer because what else do I make my clothes out of?
Right.
That's kind of my go-to. That's what I typically start with. I did measure and thought I was going to have to make a size 16 in these pants, but I made them completely, inserted the zipper, tried them on, and they were too big in the waist. They are a very high-waisted pant, so they'll sit right at your natural waist, the smallest part of your natural waist. And so I guess I mismeasured, and I technically needed to do the 14. So just all I had to do to fix that was I just took it all apart and cut down the sides of it to a size 14. Didn't worry about anything else. Cut the waistband down and just remade them. I did exclude the pockets this go around, but I love them so much I want to make another pair, probably in black, because these are in a kind of like an espresso brown. But if I make them in black, I probably will try to put the pockets in, because pockets aren't that difficult. I just didn't think I'd want them. Once I had to go through the trouble of cutting them down and everything, I didn't think I'd want pockets. But now that I've been wearing them more, I'm like, man, I wish I had pockets.
We always want what we don't have.
Exactly. So those are my finished objects. And again, we'll insert a picture so you can see. And I'm not just sitting here talking about pants and you're like, well, what do they look like?
Right. All right. Well, I've been doing a little bit of sewing also, but I've been doing face masks. I've had family members requesting. My 3 children, 2 of them live in New York and 1 in Chicago. So some of them, it's been mandated that they should not go out unless they're wearing face masks. So I've been doing that bit of sewing, and I kind of lost my knitting mojo there for a little bit after the Carrie shawl and the Hug This blanket. But I have been working on the Discovery Poncho, and so I do have that much of it finished. I've just about finished the first skein, and it takes a little more of a second skein on this. So I'm not too far away from having the back finished and ready to put the front and back together and do the neck. And that's really all I've been working on. The Discovery Poncho is a Heidi and Lana pattern. We have kits at the shop for this. So
yeah, and
you've
been flying on that project, I feel like. Because last time we did our virtual like stitch night, I feel like it was about yay big, and now it's like gotten really long.
Have been. It goes quicker than you think because it's size 7 needles, and I'm also using the Licka needles. I love these wooden needles. Wood needles are my go-to for crochet or knitting. I only change if the yarn just really grabs and go to a metal needle. But this is a fingering weight. Almost, it's like a light fingering, really. But on a size 7 needle, it goes a little faster than you might think. So,
yeah. One of my projects is fingering weight, and it's on, I think, a size 6. I'll show it here in a second. But it does, the bigger needles makes it go so much faster.
Right.
So.
But that's it for me.
Okay, so I'll talk about what I've been working on.
Yeah.
So last time I showed, I'll start with this first, the sweater. I showed the Pouf Sweater that I was using a bunch of scrap.
Yeah.
Skeins, like full-size skeins that I had. So I did finish the body. It looks really wide and really short, but when I'm going to block this and I'm going to stretch it out this way a little bit so it grows.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a crop sweater anyway, and I'm just going to wear it over dresses or with my high-waisted pants that I have. So I don't mind the fact that it's so short. I did try it on, and it hit me low enough that I felt like it wasn't just a weird cut off.
Yeah. A midriff top.
I'm a little worried about the neckline. That's the only thing. I will have to add like a ribbed neckline, but I feel like it's really wide. So we'll see how that works out. But I have started on the sleeve and gotten pretty far on the sleeve, but I stopped because I was to the point where I was starting to do increases for the poof at the bottom. Yeah. And I was also having a little bit of trouble with the yarn pooling a little bit because I was using a variegated. So I ended up having to get another skein of my graffiti yarn to alternate on rows with this. I haven't looked up, I think it's helical knitting.
Yeah.
But I feel like just from hearing people describe it, that's kind of what I'm doing with the sleeve at this point is a helical knitting technique. I am alternating the graffiti color every other row. And so this is where I started, and I did a couple of rows with just one skein, and you can see all the black was kind of right here. And now I have it where it's spreading out a little bit more over the But anyway, I still have several increases to do on the sleeve, and then I should be ready to do the ribbing and start on the other sleeve. But I did put that down for a while just because dealing with 3 skeins of yarn at a time can be a little tricky. And I wanted something a little bit more mindless, so I wasn't having to count the rows in between my increases.
Right.
So instead of working on that a whole lot, I finished the Alejandra, and I started working on, I continued, because I've loved working on this shawl. I continued working on the dotted rays.
That's looking so good.
I really don't know what happened here, but do you see where that has pulled out, that stitch?
Yeah.
I don't know if it got caught, but I figure when I go to weave in the ends, I'm probably just going to kind of weave that in a little bit.
Yeah.
I may cut it, tie a knot, and weave in the ends separately.
Yeah.
But, that can designate this is the back of the shawl.
Right.
And then, the front will be like this. I have gotten through an entire skein. And I added the second skein. So I love all the little variations.
Yeah, it's a really pretty yarn.
And you can really see it in the shawl. Like, it's just a nice soft pink, but it's like very, still a lot of tonality to it.
Right.
And this is the project that's fingering weight. It's a really lightweight fingering weight, and it's on a 6. So, and I forgot to mention, but the size needle that I'm using for my sweater is a size 5. These are also my interchangeable Licca. And again, with the interchangeable, this is the longer tip. This is the 6. So if you want a comparison, this is the short tip. This is actually part of my set that I have that's short tips. And this is the longer tip. So I like both. I feel like sometimes the shorter tip is easier for in the round knitting.
Yeah, I agree, especially when they're small circumferences, like the doing your neck ribbing or doing the sleeve in the round. If you're not into double points or magic loop, you can make those fairly small.
Do you hear the airplane going overhead?
I don't.
That's funny because it just passed overhead. We don't normally have a lot of air travel around.
But the Life Flight chopper comes over our house every now and again. We're evidently in the direct path from there to Nashville.
But I'm making the larger size in this shawl. This is a Stephen West pattern, dotted rays. I don't know if I mentioned that. And he has 2 different sizes usually for his shawls. He has like a small and a large. There's not a big difference in the size as far as I know, other than the large has, I want to say, maybe 10 or so more repeats. So I mean, it's not a huge difference.
Right.
Even if I was making the smaller size, I would have still had to have had another skein. So since I already had to have another skein, making the larger size, it's kind of...
Yeah, might as well.
Might as well. And this is a Big Sky Star Sock. So we have
that's nice yarn. So, I think that bird wants to be in the video.
Yeah. I yelled at it before we started recording. I literally looked and yelled at it to shut up.
I think maybe he's yelling back, or she, or are you too close to the nest or something?
I don't know. And we have a lot of mockingbirds around here, but we also have a lot of robins. And so I kind of think it might be a robin.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know. but I am kind of right under a tree.
Right.
So might not have been the best location. But I wanted you to see the pretty flowers.
They are pretty.
They're starting to, die and fall off because the blooming season for azaleas is kind of coming to an end. Yeah. But we have several azalea bushes around our house, and this one is the biggest, and I really like it. I like white flowers, so
it's pretty. I love white azaleas.
Mm-hmm. But that's all I've been working on.
All right. Well, I think it's short and sweet today. Go ahead.
I was about to say, the only other thing that I had was talking about the blockers that I used.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and do
that. When I blocked the shawl, I have several of those really large size foam mats that you can connect. We have some at the store. Is it Knitter's Pride that makes the ones that we have at the store?
I think so, yes.
They are, considered blocking mats. The ones that I got are a lot larger, and I got them at like Five Below, but they do the same job. And what I use to pin my stuff down is the Knitter's Pride rainbow blockers. So I have 2 sets. I have found that since I don't have lace blockers, I do need 2 sets of these typically to block larger projects. Right. And this is what it looks like when you get it. So you'll open up your little case and you'll have all the little blockers in here. You have smaller ones that have several pins in it. And then you also have these larger ones that have all the pins in there. And so what I typically do is I'll soak my shawls, roll them up in towels, step on them to get the water out. And then I'll just lay it out across my blocking mats that I have and just kind of stretch it out in place and put these along the edge of it. And I try to line all of these up very similarly and space them out so they're not all close together. I wish I'd taken a picture of this blocking actually so you could have seen. But these are great. Like, I do love these. And if you have lace blockers, these are really good to pair with the lace blockers.
Yes.
So I got the rainbow set. We also have a set at the store that's just like a plain cream colored, if you don't want all these funky colors. But
right. And we do have the wire blockers also.
Yeah.
And I use that a lot when I'm doing shawls. They come in really handy. It makes it a little easier to get a straighter edge and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and eventually I need to get some of those wire blockers that we have, just because I don't want to have to buy more of these.
Right.
Why would I buy more of these when I could just get a set of lace wire blockers to help? That would be a better investment than more of these.
Yeah. And it makes it a little quicker, too, to block something with the wires. Mm-hmm. So since you just weave that through and then you've got that to pull on, and it really helps. So, all right.
That is absolutely everything.
That's everything. I have tea. I'm drinking, and I think we've had this before on the podcast. I'm doing the Earl Grey with the Teavana's citrus lavender sage. I've got just a teeny weensy bit of that left, and it's going to be really, really sad when it's gone. So I use that sparingly. But, you've got tea today? What a cute mug.
Yeah, that was, this was actually my first mug that I ever made in ceramics. So I've taken several ceramics courses in college, and this was the coil project that I did. It's a
Yeah.
little wonky, but it makes it cute. But yeah,
Very
I have complex tea today, and I'm having Piper and Leaf tea. It's a local tea company around here, and it's the Monk's Meditation blend. So
What's that like?
it says that it is a Ceylon estate black tea with catnip, grenadine, and vanilla.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I bet that smells really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's very light. It's not
Mm-hmm.
too bold. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I have tea.
All right, nice. And we would like to say a thank you to the doctors and nurses, all the essential workers. We do appreciate you, and we're staying home for you.
Yeah.
So, trying to keep our distance, do what we're asked to do. But we appreciate you very much and the job that you're doing to make everyone well that you can, and the essential workers to keep the grocery stores going and all that. It's a lot. So
Yeah, and
we
I'm sure it's really scary sometimes too. So we really appreciate everything that all of our essential workers and our medical staff and everything are doing all over the world.
Yes. And we thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.